If you are someone that suffers with muscle pain, joint pain, or maybe even some aches and niggles here and there, then this is an all-natural remedy that may be able to help you out. It's very cheap, very easy to do, and today I am going to show you how you can use mustard seeds for pain relief. In this video, we're going to cover why it works, how it works, and most importantly, what you need to know when you're reusing mustard seeds for pain relief. Let's get into the video straight away. So the first thing we need to look at is why exactly the mustard seeds work for pain relief. Well, mustard seeds contain high levels of something called sinigrin. Now, when it's applied topically, which means putting it on the skin, it gets absorbed into the muscles and the tissues, and it produces a compound called somatropin. And this compound helps relax the smooth muscles, which in turn increases the blood flow around your body. This increased blood flow will bring more oxygen and more nutrients to the affected area, which will reduce inflammation and help relieve pain. So that's one reason why it works. The second reason is because mustard seeds contain something called glucosinolates. And these compounds, when they come into contact with the skin, they're broken down by the enzymes and oils on your skin, and they release sulfur compounds. And these sulfur compounds have anti-inflammatory properties. And again, they help increase the blood flow to the affected area. So both of these things combined, the increased blood flow and the anti-inflammatory properties of mustard seeds make it great for relieving muscle pain and joint pain. The next question you might have is, how does it actually work? Well, if you take a look at this image here, what you have is a mustard seed oil. And this mustard seed oil has two different effects. The first one is an external effect, so it's affecting the area where you're applying the oil, and the second one is an internal effect, which is affecting the whole body. Let's start with the external effect. When you apply mustard seed oil externally to the skin, it causes vasodilation. What is vasodilation? Vasodilation is basically where the blood vessels widen, which allows more blood to flow through them. In this case, what happens is the blood vessels in the skin widen, allowing more blood to flow to the surface of the skin. This gives rise to a warming sensation. That's why when you apply mustard seed oil to the skin, it feels nice and warm. This is the counter-irritant effect. It irritates the superficial tissues just below the skin and creates a reflex response from the body, which then causes the blood vessels to dilate, and it also causes the pain receptors to be blocked. So there's a competition between the pain receptors and the heat receptors. The heat receptors are being stimulated, therefore the pain receptors are being blocked. And this is why it's effective for relieving pain. Now, the second way that it works is internally, so you also have the digestive system. The oil that was applied externally is also being absorbed into the skin, and it is making its way through the lymphatic system and the bloodstream to the liver. Once it reaches the liver, it starts to produce bile. Bile is then released into the small intestine, and it aids digestion. And this is important because when you have poor digestion, you tend to have more inflammation throughout the body. Therefore, by improving digestion, you're reducing inflammation and you're helping the body heal. Now, the next thing you might be wondering is, how do I actually use it? So there are three main ways that you can use mustard seeds for pain relief. The first method is using mustard seed oil. The second method is using mustard seed paste, and the third method is using ground mustard seeds. Let's start with the mustard seed oil. With the mustard seed oil, all you need to do is take a few drops in your hands, rub it together, and apply it directly to the affected area. You can also add a little bit of carrier oil like coconut oil or olive oil and mix it in. The reason why you want to do this is because mustard seed oil is very potent and very strong, and by diluting it with a carrier oil, it makes it a lot more gentle on the skin. Another way of using the oil is you can add it to a hot water bottle or a heating pad and apply the heat to the affected area. Make sure not to put the oil directly onto the heating pad or the hot water bottle, as it can catch fire. The amount of time you should leave the oil on for depends on the severity of the pain. So, for a mild pain, 30 minutes is enough, but if you have a severe pain, you can leave it on for up to 2 hours. The next way is using the mustard seed paste. To make the paste, you take the dried mustard seeds and you grind them into a fine powder. Then you add a little bit of water or maybe a little bit of vinegar or lemon juice and mix it together until it forms a paste. Then you apply the paste to the affected area and you leave it on for 1 to 2 hours. Again, depending on the severity of the pain, the amount of time you leave it on for depends on the severity of the pain. So for a mild pain, 1 hour is enough, but if you have a severe pain, you can leave it on for up to 2 hours. And the last way is using ground mustard. So using ground mustard is really easy. All you need to do is take a tablespoon of ground mustard and mix it with a little bit of water or vinegar or lemon juice and apply it to the affected area. You can either leave it on for 1 to 2 hours, or you can use it in a hot water bottle or a heating pad. Just like with the oil, make sure not to put the ground mustard directly onto the heating pad or the hot water bottle, as it can catch fire. There are a few contraindications and precautions you need to be aware of before using mustard seeds for pain relief, so let's cover those now. The first contraindication is if you have sensitive skin, or if you're prone to getting rashes, or maybe you've got some cuts or grazes on the skin. It's best to avoid using mustard seeds, as it can cause irritation or even infection. The second precaution is if you're using mustard seed oil, make sure not to apply it to broken skin or open wounds, because it can cause irritation and it can delay the healing process. Also, make sure not to put the oil or the ground mustard directly onto a hot water bottle or a heating pad, because it can catch fire. If you have very severe pain, it's best to consult your doctor first before using mustard seeds for pain relief. If you do use mustard seeds for pain relief and you notice that you're getting any irritation or any rashes on the skin, stop using it immediately and consult your healthcare professional. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're pregnant, it's best to avoid putting mustard seeds on your stomach. This is because mustard seeds can cause uterine contractions, and this could potentially lead to a miscarriage. If you are breastfeeding, it is best to avoid using mustard seeds altogether, because they can cause allergies or other reactions in the baby. If you're taking any medications, it's best to speak to your healthcare professional before using mustard seeds for pain relief. In conclusion, mustard seeds are a great all-natural remedy for relieving muscle pain and joint pain. They work by increasing blood flow to the affected area, and they also help improve digestion, which in turn reduces inflammation. There are 3 main ways to use mustard seeds for pain relief: using mustard seed oil, using mustard seed paste, or using ground mustard. Before using mustard seeds for pain relief, make sure you're aware of the contraindications and precautions. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.